The hard facts, viewers, from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studio. Friends, viewers, Congress scion Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has put New Delhi in a difficult position by lashing out at key ally Israel. In a post on X, Vadra, while commenting on the ongoing war in Gaza, described Israel as barbaric in its pursuit of justice. In the same post, Vadra cast aside all diplomatic pretensions, also launched a scathing personal attack on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, linking him to what she described was, quote, genocide, unquote, in Gaza. Curiously, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra did not think it necessary to condemn Islamist terror organization Hamas for launching the October 7 attack on Israel. Hamas, that controlled Gaza and gleefully claimed responsibility for murdering innocent Israelis and kidnapping over 200 people, a majority of them Israelis, to hold them hostage. Despite being turfed out of Gaza by Israel, the Hamas has refused to release all the hostages. Nonetheless, that hasn't dimmed Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's ardor for the cause of Palestine. She said, women and children killed, horrific genocide taking place in Gaza. She goes on to say, must condemn Israel's genocidal actions and force them to stop it. Israel's actions are unacceptable in a world that professes civility. Shame to watch Israeli Prime Minister given a standing ovation at the US Congress. Netanyahu, his barbaric government and their barbarism supported by West. Viewers, this in sum is Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's take on the war in Gaza. Undoubtedly, Vadra's attack on Israel for pursuing the legitimate defense of its sovereignty will resonate with Muslim audiences in India and the Islamic world. But it has almost immediately triggered a war of words with the BJP, hitting back at the Congress side. Listen in. The BJP has slammed the Congress's duplicity, says what Hamas did on 7th October to women and children wasn't barbaric. Channi has a soft corner for separatism and terror of Amritpal. Priyanka Gandhi has a soft corner for global jihad. This is what Shahzad Poonawala, the BJP national spokesperson, said. While Israel is yet to respond to Vadra, there is little doubt Tel Aviv will be extremely upset at her one-sided castigation. Any other senior leader conscious of diplomatic consequences would have been careful not to embolden the Hamas. We must not forget that the Hamas not struck on Israeli soil. Gaza wouldn't have seen a ground invasion. Hamas, that ruled Gaza, is a terrorist organization that is strikingly anti-Semitic and has sworn to eliminate every Jew in Israel. Its slogan, quote, from river to sea, unquote, is a chilling invocation to the Holocaust. Yes, viewers, it seems that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has forgotten some of these important aspects. Hamas is a spin-off of the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. Hamas Charter is a xenophobic document that calls on non-Muslims to kill all Jews. And those viewers today who try to draw a distinction between the so-called ordinary Palestine resident of Gaza and the Hamas are forgetting that a majority of Palestinians voted for Hamas despite its anti-Semitism. In fact, it went to the people with this promise, and the people voted it. So by extension, the people are also xenophobic towards Jews, viewers. Palestinian voters who back Hamas also endorse the genocide. June 2023 poll by Palestinian Center for Policy and Research showed 50% Palestinians support Hamas. Palestinians support Hamas because, viewers, they identify with their worldview. Hamas seeks solution to Palestine issue in line with the objectives of, quote, jihad, unquote. Hamas is designated terror organization by US and the European Union. Vadra's attack on Israel also comes on the day India marks the 25th anniversary of the Kargil triumph. This is a cruel irony. Of all nations, Israel's selfless and unconditional aid to India during the Kargil conflict proved crucial. Here's how Israel helped. And listen to this, viewers. The first hard fact, and I always bring you these hard facts so you can get closer to the truth. It helped with intelligence sharing. Israel provided India with critical satellite imagery and intelligence on Pakistani troop movements, allowing us to focus on where they were and attack them. Hard fact 2, military equipment. Israel supplied India with laser-guided missiles, unmanned aerial vehicles, surveillance equipment, thermal imaging cameras, all of which we didn't have. There was also, of course, logistical support. Israel helped India with logistics, including transportation and maintenance of military equipment. All of this added up to the effort, viewers, that allowed us to triumph against Pakistan. Let's open this up, viewers, because the fundamental question here that is being asked is whether the Congress is today so blinded by appeasement politics and vote bank politics. Don't forget, viewers, that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has an election coming up. She's going to be contesting very soon from Wayanad, where we all know, viewers, in some pockets there were sympathetic parades in favor of both Hamas and Palestinians, viewers. And that's on record. So let me just open this up and let's ask some basic questions. Let me first begin with Congress sympathizer and once a candidate also of the Congress party, Mr. Kamru Chaudhary. Mr. Chaudhary, I find this rather intriguing that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has been very selective in her attack on Israel. In fact, in all her tweets so far on this subject, she has never empathized with Israel for being the target of a vicious Islamist terror attack and a protracted jihad. Why is this, sir? Why is this selectivity? Yes, you can talk about, the loss of lives. You could say they're disproportionate, this, that, the other. One understands that. But why, without any reference to the fact that Israel was the first victim?
Thank you, Rahul, for bringing up an important topic for discussion. I was wondering why are we not discussing the atrocities committed on Palestinians so far in national debates, rather. At least one tweet of Priyanka Gandhi ji, and I'm proud of her for bringing up this issue, at least on the national debate. Our history with, first and foremost, a disclaimer. I am not here to condone any of the activities of the Hamas out here, nor I am sympathizing with whatever they have done with the Israelis or the Palestinians that they are facing right now. Secondly, you see, if you go to the long checkered history of our relation with Palestine, even in 1947, India voted for the partition of Palestine at the UNO. India was the first non-Arab state to recognize the Palestinian Liberation Organization as the sole and the legitimate representative of the Palestinian people in 1974. India was also the first country to recognize the state of Palestine in 1988. Then what suddenly changed in 2014 that we are importing around 30% of Israel's total exports of armaments? Why is it that we are having a yearly business of around $2 billion every year from Israel and enabling the mass genocide of Palestinians in Israel? Are we not a rogue state as declared by the International Court Justice supporting it, which stated that Israel is tantamount to the crime of apartheid? We know what happened to South Africa. We isolated the entire world, nations isolated South Africa till they came out of their apartheid regime. Now, why are the Zionists being so, poster boy of the Indian right-wing fundamentalist out here? What is the reason? Only reason that I can find out is the entire shift in the diplomatic policy is more rooted towards the domestic politics rather than any foreign policy considerations.
Kamru Chaudhary,
that's my limited point out here.
How are you drawing a distinction? First of all, Palestine, viewers, has backed Pakistan's position on Kashmir.
I don't want to get into
No, you have to get into it. If you're getting into it, then don't wear. One second. Do you back Pakistan's position on Kashmir? Kamru Chaudhary.
Pakistan is a terrorist.
Do you back?
State.
Okay, so then what does that make Palestine? Palestine backs Pakistan's position on Kashmir. What does it make it? An enabler of terrorist state?
No, you'd say.
I'm asking you, is it true or is it not true? Kamru Chaudhary, I'm
Rahul,
asking you a
let's
fundamental
see
question
eye to
tonight.
eye.
I'm asking you a fundamental. You asked me to begin this debate. You are saying that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has done a stellar service in bringing out the facts. So let me. I'm asking you, sir.
Support Russia's
I am asking you, sir.
invasion of Ukraine? Yes or no?
I support Russia's interest, self-interest in defending its own territorial sovereignty any day, sir. Any day.
India
Now,
so
1
long,
minute.
according
I want
me,
to ask you a simple
I
question.
support
1
the
second.
Palestinian cause
I want to
of a
ask you a
free
simple question.
and independent
I want to
country.
ask you a simple question.
Why-
Your
why
heart
is
is
the right
no,
thing-
1 second. Your heart. No, sir, we can't speak over each other. I am not part of that cabal of anchors, sir, who yells and barks like a mad dog. I'm sorry. So either we have a sensible debate where you make a point and I contradict you and you explain yourself, or we can shout and we can have a nice time and waste the viewers' time and attention. So if you say that you want to have a meaningful debate tonight, I just want to ask you a simple question. Israel came to our aid. It allowed us to evict, it helped us rather to evict Pakistani terrorists and Pakistani army regulars from Kargil. We got rid of them. Thanks to the equipment that was supplied by Israel, no one else really came to the party. Let me tell you that, Mr. Chaudhry. No Palestinian was standing there, gun in hand, with Indian soldiers taking on the Pakistanis. The Pakistanis, in fact, got support from the Palestinians, not once, but 2 or 3 times, in different circumstances.
And so?
So, why should we go there? Why should we? Hang on, 1 second. 1 second, Mr. Chaudhry. 1 second. I just want to finish. I want to ask you.
कुत्ता का मुंह में हड्डी डाल दो, वो चुपचाप बैठ जाएगा.
Look, viewers.
So India is being treated like a dog by Israel.
Look at this,
and you feel that
India is being treated like a dog by Israel.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
That's your
Let me bring
in.
Dr. Ranganathan into this. Why, Dr. Ranganathan, should we chase after why should we reduce ourselves to the bone in the mouth of a mad dog, says Mr. Chaudhry, Kamru Zaman Chaudhry, in all his wisdom. He hasn't addressed 2 fundamental questions. Why does Palestine support Pakistan's position on Kashmir? Why has Palestine repeatedly criticized India, even at the OIC, let me be honest, on Kashmir? And are we supposed to support all these, sorry to say, unalloyed characters who wield guns, go into other people's territories, rape their women, kill their young children in cradles, swear that they will drive people out of their homeland?
Good evening, Rahul. Good evening to my fellow panelists. It's terribly embarrassing and disappointing to see this, but at the same time, it's not unexpected. And I congratulate you for exposing the previous panelist in 1 sentence flat. If he is waxing eloquent about Indian-Palestine relationship, especially during the Congress regime for 60 years, and the moment you asked him, what is Palestinian position on Kashmir? Why does Palestine side with Pakistan? Why did Palestine side with Pakistan in 1971 when we were under attack? Then he is completely exposed. But that's the danger of bringing people who have their agenda of Muslim brotherhood, to a debate where you expect some kind of objectivity from such people. So yes, you won't get it. But let me concentrate on the issue at hand, because debate is more important than debating what others, say on a debate. I think let's talk about truth out here. In its zeal for domestic appeasement, and you mentioned that as well, Wayanad, Kerala, especially Kerala, where the former Hamas chief was invited to speak. Can you imagine? So in that zeal for appeasing those people, Priyanka Gandhi and Congress has chosen to attack the nation that itself was attacked in the most barbaric way. Can you imagine the people who suffered 1,400 deaths where babies were microwaved are being accused of genocide when they're defending themselves? And to do this on the day when we celebrate victory in the Kargil war, whose tide was turned, Rahul, I cannot continue like this. If you get this,
Mr. Chaudhry, you think of a response. No, 1 minute, please. You think of a response. I will ask you to respond. Please don't interrupt Dr. Ranganathan. He never interrupted you, please. He never interrupted you, please. He didn't interrupt you.
I can understand that people belong to this global brotherhood are rattled by facts, but Rahul, we have to take that into account and suffer it. I suppose there's no other way for it. But as I was saying, for Priyanka and the Congress to do this on the day when we celebrate victory in the Kargil war, whose tide was turned decisively by Israel supplying us with weaponry, going against the world's sanctions against us. But I bet Kamru would have hated that as well, Israel helping us to win our Kargil war. I'm sure if you ask him, he'll say, no, we didn't want Israel's help. Israel shouldn't have helped
Bofors
us.
had to play in the Kargil war. Why are you...
Bofors was not supplied by Israel, my dear friend. Oh my God.
So the war was won because of the Bofors. Now after 2014, we are listening that Narendra Modi won the war because he was the chief minister of Gujarat and he brought in some arms supply from Israel.
Mr. Chaudhary, relax. Just relax, please. Don't let facts get in the way, as Mr. Chaudhary believes, in the way of a good argument. Throw the facts out, cook up any old story and sit on national TV. That's not the way, sir. Doctor, yeah.
The only redeeming feature is he's not a lawyer. But anyway,
the people
let
will
us
decide.
also not forget, Rahul, either we have this debate with him, constantly interrupting me.
It's not fair, Mr. Chaudhary. It's not fair.
Which one is it going to be?
Yeah.
This is so unfair.
Go ahead.
I was silent when he was... Yeah, thank you. Let us also not forget that all our Arab friends, so-called friends, ditched us during our 1971 war with Pakistan, much possibly to the amusement of the panelists here. It was Israel that came to our help, despite America warning it not to. And these are the facts that emerged authoritatively from the explosive Haksar papers. So this is not a figment of some imagination or Congress WhatsApp forwards. And how did Congress repay Israel? By not backing it during its Yom Kippur war in 1973, when Pakistani pilots flew and bombed Israel to help Palestine. Rahul, I would like to make a few points here, and they need to be internalized because these are irrefutable facts, not opinions like the previous panelists. Number one, let us get our facts right. Hamas uses hospitals as ammo dumps and patients as human shields, rendering Geneva Convention invalid, whatever the other Hamas shills might say. And it is now clear that that Baptist hospital in Gaza was not bombed in an accidental Israeli airstrike, but rather got damaged through a Hamas stray rocket. But here's the thing, the Baptist hospital in Gaza was safe and functioning well till October 6, 2023, was it not? And it would have continued to be safe and function well beyond that, had Hamas not murdered 1,400 innocent Jews and microwave babies on October 7, 2023 and brought on this war upon itself. So let me be clear, Hamas alone is responsible for the Gaza tragedy, whatever the Congress might say. Number two, the Jews were in the land of Israel more than 1,000 years before Islam was even born. So this argument that these people bring up, that the land does not belong to Jews, is totally wrong. King David founded his kingdom 1700 years before Islam. And what is symbolized in the Israeli flag? The Star of David. The Jews were driven out of Israel 500 years before Islam, after the defeat of Simon Bar Kokhba in the Jewish-Roman War. Number three, while the Israeli Declaration of Independence Charter does not discriminate between Jews and Muslims, the Charter of Hamas, democratically elected, by the way, by the Palestinians, proclaims that the day of judgment will not come until Muslims fight Jews and kill them. Israel will continue to exist until Islam obliterates it, just as it obliterated others before it. Fourth, Israel has voluntarily given up the land, Sinai, West Bank, Gaza, that it had taken over after the Arab-Israeli wars. If it was the perennial aggressor, why would it do so? Number five, Israel believes in the two-state solution, where Israel and Palestine can live peacefully side by side. Hamas does not. Number six, Egypt has demolished thousands of Gazan homes along the Sinai border. Egypt has flushed out Gazan border tunnel, not Israel. And besides, why for 6 months after October 2023, Egypt and Jordan did not allow Palestinian refugees to enter their land? Especially when Rafah border crossing allows for civilians, not goods, to cross over. Have you ever wondered also why a small sliver of land surrounded by the richest, the wealthiest nations in the world, the Arab states, remains the poorest when the same nations have converted deserts into Dubai, and yet Gaza remains the poorest, filthiest, sickest, most dangerous place in the world? because they want to play the victim card, Rahul. Just like after they start the violence, kill Jews, they march down their dead killed in retaliatory Israeli action to show the world that Israel is the oppressor. They project Gaza as an open air prison and gutter because Israel has made it so. They care more about denigrating Israel than about developing Palestine. Finally, 10 seconds. Why doesn't Priyanka write against China that has interned 1 million Muslims in concentration camps and is forcibly sterilizing them and feeding them pork? If she has the guts, let her condemn China.
Viewers, this backing of Palestine, let's expose it. I have General Bakshi with me, and we also have the left leader, stalwart of the left movement, Vivek Srivastava, with us. General Bakshi, can you explain how the Israelis have helped our cause? Today, of course, is the 25th anniversary of Kargil. And we're speaking in the context of that. And today you have a Congress party scion who comes out and praises Palestine and repudiates Israel. This is the way we thank a country that helped us win a war? General Bakshi, can you explain to Mr. Chaudhary and the others and our guests why we should, at least on this day, say a word of thank you to Israel rather than abusing it?
Rahul, nations must give primacy to their own national interests. As far as the India-Israel equation is concerned, don't forget that it was in Mrs. Indira Gandhi's time that we had made the outreach to Israel. Moshe Dayan had come in Mrs. Gandhi's time to India. Clandestinely, the relationship had been established till we jettisoned all pretense and came out in the open to safeguard and to stand by our own national interests and to give them primacy. Israel has stood by us in every conflict. In the Kargil conflict, when we needed the ammunition for the medium guns, when we needed ammunition for our 120 millimeter mortars, when we needed the UAVs, when we needed the laser guided bombs, because the Pakistanis, we were told those were terrorists who had come in to occupy the heights. It was the Pakistan Northern Light Infantry, and they were equipped with shoulder-fired anti-aircraft SAMs, and they had knocked out our MiG-21. We lost a MiG-23. We lost 2 helicopters. That is the time the Air Force had to fly above the SAM envelope. Who gave us the laser-guided bombs? On priority, delivered it to us so that it could be used to hit the Munthodalo base, logistic base of the terrorists, and it is that interdiction effort that helped us to win that war. So, what have the Palestinians given to us for our unstinted support for all these years? They have always sided with Pakistan. They have always reviled and abused India on the issue of Kashmir, Rahul, it bears mention. I want to tell you of that little story. There was the child who shot both his parents and then pleaded in the court for mercy on the grounds that he was an orphan. Right? We have a set of Rudalis in Palestine who firstly want to provoke Israel, kill about 1,200 of their citizens, and take about 250 as hostages. They would have killed a lot more. And then they want to bomb, use rockets to spray the Israeli settlements, and you expect Israel not to hit back? So Israel is beleaguered on all sides.
So let me ask, and it's finally fighting an existential battle.
Any replication of the American universities where the Muslim
let me ask some. I think you made a very valid point,
held that
General.
Nation to hostage.
General Saab, you made a very valid point, and I want to bring in Vivek Srivastava. Vivek Srivastava, would you support a country that gets up and votes alongside Pakistan in the United Nations against us? A simple question. Would your heart bleed for that country? See, just answer me yes or no, please.
No, there's no yes and no.
There is no yes or no.
I support the cause of Palestine.
I'm not asking you to talk about Palestine. I'm only asking you a very simple question.
Yes.
Would you support a country, a nation, a people, an entity that stands with Pakistan in the United Nations and votes against India? Simple question, yes or no?
Obviously not, but
Obviously,
I would like to go. But I would like to go.
No,
into
I'm
the
not
details
asking you
as to
any
why
more
it did
questions.
so.
One second.
Diplomacy is something.
One second. Viewers, Vivek Srivastava says that I will never stand with any entity, nation, whatever, yada, yada, that votes alongside Pakistan in the United Nations. Now, let me tell you a few things, viewers. We are shedding massive crocodile tears. They're so heavy that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is today soaking in empathy for the people of Palestine. Now, let me give you a bit of a history lesson. In 2019, viewers, think about it, 20 years after what happens in Kargil, Palestine UN Ambassador Riyad Mansour expressed support for Pakistan's position on Kashmir during the UN Security Council meeting. UN Security Council meeting, viewers, where we don't have just Pakistan, but we have that wretched country called China, which is butchering its own Muslims, and Chaudhry and Srivastava are silent about that.
No, we are not silent.
No, okay. You'll call it a fake news.
No.
In 2020, viewers, 4 years back, President Mahmoud Abbas of Palestine reiterates Palestine's support for Pakistan's stance on Kashmir during a meeting with Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan. Can you believe it, viewers? You are shaking hands, supping soup and eating biryani with Imran Khan. And here Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is getting emotional about Palestinians and their cause. Their cause, viewers, has always been against India. Now let me bring more facts to the table. Palestine has voted in favor of Pakistan's position on Kashmir at international forums like the United Nations. Palestine has expressed support for Kashmiri people's right to azadi. So it actually wants India to be broken up, viewers. And it opposes India's administrative control over the region. It says, India, get out of Kashmir. This, viewers, is who we are shedding these crocodile tears for. Mr. Srivastava supports the Palestinian cause that wants to undermine India. Viewers, no, 1 second. What are you going to speak about? 1 second. Palestine is still seeking the recognition as a sovereign state of Kashmir, even today. Viewers.
Now let me start.
No, hang on.
Yeah.
And Palestine and Pakistan, viewers, have maintained historical ties from 1947 onwards without a year's break. The Palestine also opposed India's invitation to the OIC. Can you believe it, viewers? And yet, our heart is bleeding for Palestine. And the same Palestinians who voted for Hamas that has ties, cross-continental ties with terror groups. So an Indian soldier can get martyred at the hands of this great Islamist fundamentalist jihad, Ghazwa-e-Hind. That doesn't matter. But one Palestinian is killed. That becomes a major issue. Viewers, I think we should mark the anniversary of Kargil every day with patriotic fervor so that all these individuals who have a problem are exposed. In fact, viewers, we should celebrate October 8th, the day Israel retaliated, as a day where the world took a stand against Islamist extremism. Every day we should celebrate that day. But here, viewers, the Congress party is standing with an entity that wants to break India. Think about that, viewers. I'll leave it at this. We'll take a short break. We're coming right back because there are still more questions to be asked. Don't go away.